Hi, boys and girls. Happy Thursday. We're continuing with our review of topic 8. We're moving on to 8-4. So just building upon what you did yesterday, making equivalent fractions you multiplied, today you're going to divide. So the only thing when you're thinking about dividing to make equivalent fractions is that you have to realize you can't just pick any number like you could yesterday with multiplication. When you divide, you have to make sure you're picking a factor, a number that is a factor of both the numerator and the denominator, right? So if you look at this question here, we have 28 over 35 and they want you to divide. So you have to think of a number that is both a factor of 28 and a factor of 35, right? So if I pick 2, yes, you can divide 28 by 2, but you can't divide 35 by 2. So you have to pick a number that is in the fact family of both of the numbers, okay? So in this case, we chose 7 because we know I could divide 28 by 7 and I can divide 35 by 7, okay? So let's look at a few examples together. So here the directions are just to divide to make an equivalent fraction. So some sort of common ones that you know, if you have an even, both your numerator and your denominator are even numbers, you can always pick 2. So 6 is an even number and 10 is an even number. So I can divide the top and the bottom by 2. So 6 divided by 2 gives you 3, and 10 divided by 2 gives you 5. All right, so that's one way if you get stuck and you're not sure. So again, here I know these are both even numbers, so I could pick 2. I also know that they both have 4 as a factor. I could divide 8 by 4 and I could divide 12 by 4. So I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 4. And I'm just writing it this way so I don't have to do it 2 times. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Here they also give us a little bit of a hint, which is nice, right? So how do you, what do you divide 12 by to get to 3? 12 divided by 4. Remember, whatever you do to the top, you do to the, or bottom to the top, sorry. So again, 8 divided by 4 is 2. It's the same one as number 4, 2/3. So here they give us a little hint as well. How do you go from 10 to 5? You divide by 2. Here, whatever you do to the top, you do to the bottom. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Again, I like when they help us out here. How do I go from 10 to 5? I divide by 2. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 2 divided by 2 is 1. How do you go from 100 to 10? You divide by 10. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. 10 divided by 10 is 1. Okay? Let's do a couple more together. I think here we get the option, divide to find 2 equivalent fractions. So we have to, for each one, find 2. So we have 20 over 10, so I need to think in my brain, what is a number that is a factor of both? I know 10 is a factor of both, so I could divide the top and bottom, I'm just going to do it real big, by 10. 20 divided by 10 gives me 2. 100 divided by 10 gives me 10. If I had to do, because they want 2 equivalent fractions, I have to do it again. So 20 over 100. They are both even numbers, so I can divide them by 2. I could also divide them by 20. I'll divide by 2. 20 divided by 2 gives you 10. And 100 divided by 2 gives you 50. Okay, so they want, the directions are find 2 equivalent. So here, 40 over 10, we have a fraction greater than a whole. I know 10 is a factor of both numbers, so I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 10. I'm just going to write one big one. 40 divided by 10 equals 4. 10 divided by 10 equals 1. They want another one, so let me rewrite 40 over 10. I'm getting so much better at this. I know they are both even numbers, so I can divide the top and the bottom by 2. 40 divided by 2 gives you 20. 10 divided by 2 gives you 5. All right, let's look at this one. 24 and 12, they're both even numbers, so I could divide them by 2. I also know they both have 6 as a factor. They both have 4 as a factor. They both have 3 as a factor. They both have 12 as a factor. So I have a lot of options here. Let's go with 6. I'm going to divide the top and bottom by 6. 24 divided by 6 gives you 4. 12 divided by 6 gives you 2. We have to do it a second time because the directions tell me for 2. So 24 over 12. Again, this is a fraction greater than a whole. Let's divide the top and bottom by 12. 24 divided by 12 gives you 2. 12 divided by 12 gives you 1. And last one, 10 over 100. I know 10 is a factor of both numbers, so I can divide the top and bottom by 10. 10 divided by 10 gives me 1. 100 divided by 10 gives me 10. I have to do it a second time. So 10 over 100. I know they're both even numbers, so I could divide them by 2. I could also divide them by 5. 10 divided by 2 equals 5. 100 divided by 2 equals 50. Okay, so boys and girls, that's what you're working on today, generating equivalent fractions using division. All right, have a great day, everybody.